The following is a class on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 11, text number 13, given by His Grace, Sriman Sankarsana Prabhu, recorded on October 19th, 2012, in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Tvam ādi-devaḥ puruṣaḥ purāṇas tvam asya viśvasya paraṁ nidhānam vettāsi vedyaṁ cha paraṁ cha dhāma tvayā tataṁ viśvam ananta-rūpa tvam ādi-devaḥ puruṣaḥ purāṇas tvam asya viśvasya paraṁ nidhānam. That's it's not. No one has the verse. Okay, it becomes Shrutidhar. Vettāsi vedyaṁ cha paraṁ cha dhāma. Vettāsi vedyaṁ cha paraṁ cha dhāma. Tvayā tataṁ viśvam ananta-rūpa. Tvayā tataṁ viśvam ananta-rūpa. Tvam ādi-devaḥ puruṣaḥ purāṇas. Tvam ādi-devaḥ puruṣaḥ purāṇas. Tvam asya viśvasya paraṁ nidhānam.
Tvam asya viśvasya paraṁ nidhānam.
Vettāsi vedyaṁ cha paraṁ cha dhāma.
Vettāsi vedyaṁ cha paraṁ cha dhāma.
Tvayā tataṁ viśvam ananta-rūpam.
Tvayā tataṁ viśvam ananta-rūpam.
Tvam, you, ādi-devaḥ, the original Supreme God, puruṣaḥ, personality, purāṇa, old, tvam, you, asya, of this, viśvasya, universe, paraṁ, transcendental, nidhānam, refuge, veta, the knower, asi, you are, vedyaṁ, the knowable, cha, and paraṁ, transcendental, cha, and dhāma, refuge, tvayā, by you, tataṁ, pervaded, viśvam, the universe, ananta-rūpa, O unlimited forms. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupad, the deliverer of the whole universe. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Purport. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is the ultimate rest. Nidhānam means that everything, even the Brahman effulgence, rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world, and if knowledge has any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is known as the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because he is all-pervading, because he is the cause in the spiritual world. He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Barijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtanta Deshatarine. This is really chock full of amazing concepts. I mean, wow. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. That's amazing. Just like Brahmaji says, ananta-rūpam, your form is endless. So Krishna actually includes everything. There's nothing outside of Krishna. So therefore, he knows everything, and he is all that is knowable also at the same time. It's quite amazing. The same concept, ananta-rūpa, is given here as in the Brahma Samhita. Advaitam achyutam anadamanam parūpam. It's the same thing. Advaita means without a second. He has no competitor, you see. He's the supreme without any... No, there's no second person who's competing with him for the top position. He's one without he's without a second. Advaita. Advaitam achyutam. His form does not decay. Advaitam achyutam ananta-rūpam. His form is endless. It means Krishna actually encompasses everything. You may say, well, how's that possible? I mean, there's Krishna, and there's the manifestation from Krishna, everything that's come from him. You see, because it's all come from him, it's not different from him. Of course, we don't want to get into the Mayavadi conception. It's a subtle distinction. It's described by another description of Brahmaji. Ekopyasa rachayitam jaganandakotim. He says that he is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between the potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of the unlimited worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in each and every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout all the universes at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. I was just, as we were driving here tonight, I was meditating on this word adore, which has been used by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It's really an amazing word, the word adore. We use, love as a normal word over here. I love you, I adore you. That's even stronger than love, you see. If you adore someone, you're just absolutely, completely enamored with that person. I adore you see. Is that the position of the devotee? He adores Krishna. He doesn't just love Krishna, he adores Krishna. He's mad after Krishna. Just like Lord Chaitanya, he was mad after Krishna. That's the perfection, you see, when we become mad after Krishna. Just mad after Krishna. That's our perfection. That if we forget Krishna even for a moment, it is death. We'll feel it is death if we forget Krishna even for 1 minute. This is nicely described by our mother, Radharani, Mother Radharani. This verse is very wonderful shloka. It's in CC Ansha 1759. I recommend this verse. It's one of those choicest nectars of the CC. Manamora vamadina jalavina yena mina. Krishna vina chane mariyaya. Madhurya hasavanane mananetra sayane. Krishna trishna dvigona vadaya. Manamora vamadina. Manamora, my mind, you see. Vamadina. If my impoverished mind does not think of Krishna even for a moment, then jala vina yena mina. Jala is water, yena as if, or as. Jala mina fish, yena, see, jala vina without, Jala vina yena mina, a fish out of the water. So if my impoverished mind does not think of Krishna even for a moment, I'm just like a fish out of the water, you see. Radharani says, you see. And then she says, Madhura hashavadane, you see. But if I see Krishna's sweetly smiling face, you see. Madhurya, sweet, vadane. Madhura hashavadane. Mana netra, my mind and my eyes, rasayane, become very, very pleased, you see. Then Krishna trishna, you know what trishna means? It means thirst. Krishna trishna, my thirst for Krishna immediately doubles. And I'm just thinking about that, wow, every time Radharani looks at Krishna, her thirst for Krishna doubles. Now, how many times has Radharani looked at Krishna in the vast span of eternity? Every time she looked at him, her thirst, her Krishna trishna, it doubled. Wow. That means, 2 times her thirst, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, 32 times. It just goes into an infinity. And actually she has an infinite thirst for Krishna, which keeps, even though it's infinite, it keeps expanding even more. She has an infinite thirst, an unlimited thirst for Krishna. You ever been really thirsty, like right at the end of Nirjala Ekadasi, you're just like dying for water. When can I break this fast, Thirst, you see. That intense hankering, you see. Radharani, she has that intense hankering for Krishna, you see. And it keeps becoming more intense, and every time she looks at him, she gets more and more. It's not that her thirst becomes satiated, you see. Every time she looks at Krishna, she becomes more thirsty for Krishna. This person has got to be amazing, that's all I can say, I mean, even if he wasn't God, he would be very amazing, really. And with all the other things, he's also God to boot. He's also God, and along with all these other qualities, he's God. He's the source of everything. Absolutely amazing person. I mean, if you start to study his qualities, there's no end. There's absolutely no end. You start to study the qualities of Krishna. This is just a small sample here. The ultimate sanctuary is this Now, it's interesting, you can study the word for word, you can study the verse and the purport. You see, in the word for word says refuge. The verse says, well, I see, yeah, there's refuge. Oh yeah, nidhānam, refuge. There's sanctuary there, yeah. Refuge and sanctuary are synonymous terms, that's what I was seeing. In Christianity, what we call the temple room, they call it the sanctuary. A place where you can go and take shelter. You see. So that's a very nice word, the sanctuary. Krishna is the ultimate sanctuary. Supreme refuge. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. The subtleties of the Achintya Bheda philosophy are quite interesting, actually. Prabhupada has sometimes described it in different, very interesting ways. And one time he says, there is nothing but Krishna. There is nothing but Krishna. But nothing is Krishna, except for his original primeval personality. That's Achintya Bheda in a very wonderful nutshell from Prabhupada, you see. There is nothing but Krishna, but yet nothing is Krishna, save and except his original primeval personality. So how does that work? I mean, how can Krishna be everything and not be everything at the same time? Well, it's all his expanded energies, so it's all him in one sense. But it's his separated energy, you see. He has his integrated expansions and his separated expansions. We are called separated expansions, you see. Tatasta Shakti, you see. We have a nature to go either towards the spiritual world or the material world. We have a dual nature. Why do we have that? Why we have that tatasta nature? That's so that love can exist. If you don't have a choice to love Krishna, then how you can really love him? If you're just a programmed robot, how you can love him? It's not possible. Love only can exist when you have the choice to love or not to love. Then love is real, you see. One who is programmed to love, he's called robot. So Krishna doesn't want robots as devotees. So he has manifested the jivas with a tatasta nature that they can choose one way or the other, you see. They can go to matter or spirit, whatever they like. They have a choice. So that he can actually enjoy that, he can actually have loving exchange with that person. It's very interesting for Krishna. When you can love him or not love him, you see. It's interesting for him then. Just like you can get you can get a robot dog, you see. He barks, he wags his tail, but he doesn't pass stool, you see. You can get a robot dog, or you can get a real dog. What's more, the real dog is better because, he has feelings, he can reciprocate with you in different ways. So Krishna doesn't want robots, he wants jivas who have the free will to love him or to leave him. And then it becomes very nice when they choose to love him. It becomes very sweet for Krishna. He's the end of all knowledge. Vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. Krishna says in the Vedas, in the Bhagavad Gita, of course that is also Vedas, 15, he says, by all the Vedas I am to be known. That means ultimately the end of all Vedic knowledge, which is Vedanta, literally. The final conclusion of all Vedic knowledge is Krishna. Now it's easy to get sidetracked by the Vedas, because there are so many prescriptions for various types of persons who want to enjoy this material existence, how they can enjoy life in a regulated way. Even how they can eat meat in a regulated way is given in the Vedas. Offering a goat to goddess Kali in the dark moon night, whispering a mantra in the goat's ear. I'm killing you, and now you can kill me and eat me in the next life. What kind of fool would want to eat meat if that was the case? I'm going to become a goat in my next life, and this goat will become a human. He'll slaughter me and eat me in the same way I'm slaughtering him. Who would want to eat meat? Or if somebody is crazy enough, no, I have to eat meat, then they can follow that injunction, you see. So the Vedas have so many injunctions for people who are materialistically minded. But Krishna warns us that, therefore, Krishna warns us in the Bhagavad Gita not to be disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas. The descriptions of how you can achieve the heavenly planets, you see, where the pleasures are thousands of times greater than this planet. You can go to the heaven and drink somarasa wine, divine elixir, which gives you, doesn't rot your liver like liquor does here. It gives you increased longevity, increased intelligence, and increased power for sense enjoyment. Somaras. You can go to the somarasa planet. You can go to the heavenly planets and drink somarasa loka, you see. Go to the heavenly planets and drink somarasa. But what's the good of it? You're still going to die. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravarti narjana mamupachirakonteya punarjanmana vidyate. From the highest planet in this material world down to the lowest, all their places of misery, repeated birth, death, and death take place. But when it pertains to my abode, O son of Kunti, punar janma na vidyate. Again, punar, na, not, janma, birth, vidyate, takes. Again, not, birth takes. Sanskrit is usually the backwards from the way in English. I don't know about your language, but in English language, Sanskrit is usually backwards. When I studied Sanskrit, we had to learn how to kind of look at it from the other direction. It's kind of a backwards. Or English is actually, Sanskrit is not backwards, English is backwards. That's the proper understanding. Vrindavanam paritjaja napada ekam gacchati. That's a very nice Sanskrit sentence to study. Vrindavanam abandoning, not 1 foot he goes. Literally. Vrindavanam parijaja napada ekam gacchati. Krishna never sets even 1 foot outside of Vrindavan. It may appear that he went to Dwaraka and to Mathura, but that's an expanded form of Krishna. The original Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan. He's even there right now. He's still there. So one simply has to somehow connect with Krishna. You see, somehow connect with Krishna. That is the purpose of our human life. If you do not connect with Krishna, you have completely wasted your human form of life. That is a fact. You have completely thrown it down the drain. Wasted it. What good is your money? What good is your power? What good is your fame? What good is your beauty? What good is your knowledge if you're not Krishna conscious? Shama evi kevalam. Simply a useless waste of time, that's all. You have nothing else. If you have Krishna bhakti, you're the most successful person in the whole world. The bhakta, he has a higher position than even Brahmanji. the one who is fully absorbed in bhakti, he is the highest, most exalted position in the whole universe. And we've seen this, our Srila Prabhupada, you see. I remember when I first saw Prabhupada in San Francisco, there was about 300 of us there at the airport. There was no security in those days. You could go inside, just as they're coming off the jet bridge. You didn't have... In some places you can still do that. In Australia you can do that. You can go inside. But most places you can't go inside unless you have a boarding pass. But in those days there was no security, and Prabhupada was coming off. There's about 300 devotees there, jumping up and down in ecstasy, singing our lungs out, in ecstasy. Prabhupada's on the plane, he's going to be coming through the jet bridge. Any minute he'll be emerging into the terminal, So it was the jet bridge is expanded on that day. You're going through the walls of the jet bridge, and now you come out of the jet bridge, and the walls keep going, but now it's a human walls of jumping and dancing Vaishnavas. And the people were amazed. Of course, San Francisco was known for far out things in the late 60s. So, but they think, well, it's San Francisco. The hippie capital, San Francisco. But the people were amazed. They came through all these chanting and dancing devotees. We kept waiting. Where is Prabhupada? Where is Prabhupada? Finally, I think Prabhupada was the last one. Finally, Prabhupada emerged. I noted he was so short, but yet he was the biggest person in the whole universe. He's very short, physically very short man, you see. But no, he's not short man. He's the biggest man in the whole universe. Spiritual master is described as the sum total of all the demigods. He's the biggest man in the whole universe. So, it was quite interesting that day. Prabhupada walked through the terminal, and when he got out to where they pick you up in the cars, and there was no car. Devotees were so spaced out, no one had a car there to take Prabhupada. He's just standing there. And there's some pictures of this, actually. This pastime is recorded in photographs. Prabhupada standing there, it was amazing. Prabhupada was just standing there like an aristocratic gentleman. He just stood there and patiently waited for his car without saying a word. And there was 300 devotees all standing around. It was called the cynosure of all eyes. 300 devotees standing around looking at him, It was quite a scene for any karmi who comes by to see that 300 people standing and looking at a person who's standing there like this. We were just all looking at him. We were surrounding him. We were just gazing upon his transcendental form, feasting our eyes on his transcendental form, That's how I describe it, you see, because what do you want? The disciple, he takes the spiritual master into his heart. That's what it means to be a disciple, you see. You take your Guru Maharaj into your heart. He's not a stranger. You open your heart up and let him move in, you see. Guru Maharaj kindly reside in my heart, you see. That's what it means to have a spiritual master. So, we would drink Prabhupada into our heart through our eyes, you see. That's how my understanding of what that experience was like. That's how I describe it. When we would see Prabhupada standing there, we would just drink his form into our heart through our eyes. So, it's very important actually to have a connection with Srila Prabhupada, to have a connection with a bona fide spiritual master. Because that's how we actually get the connection with Krishna, who is far, far beyond our ability to comprehend or to perceive. That's the thing. Krishna is far, far beyond our ability to comprehend and perceive. But he becomes accessible through the form of the spiritual master. This is why Krishna explained to Arjuna in the Adi-Purana, Ye me bhakta jana parata, na me bhakta shtate janaha, mad bhaktanam chiye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. He said, my dear son of Prita, Arjuna, the one who is my devotee, na me bhaktas, He's not my devotee. But the one who is the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. So you want to become devotee of Krishna? Great. Then do what Krishna says. Become the devotee of Krishna. You say, no, I won't do that. I will just be the devotee of Krishna. I tried to do that. I was a guest living in the ashram to check out what it was like to be a Hare Krishna monk. And that was my idea. I would just be a devotee of Krishna. Because I'd been a musician, a songwriter, and George Harrison had just come out with his Krishna conscious songs. And I was thinking, well, that's pretty cool. I'll do like George is doing, sing songs about Krishna, my sweet Lord, and chanting the names of the Lord, and you'll be free. I won't surrender to become, brahmachari or a disciple. No, I'll just write Krishna conscious songs, do my own thing. That was my idea. I'll live in the ashram so I can learn how to write better songs about Krishna. And the devotee said, one day I distributed 10 BTGs, so they gave me a title, Prabhu. I earned the title Steve Prabhu because I did 10 Back to Godhead magazines one day. Steve Prabhu, you say you just want to be a devotee of Krishna, but just see here in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadengshati te jnanam gyanenas tadvadarshinaha. And just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Well, I couldn't say anything. It was Krishna's words. But was I going to do it? No way. But I was in there, seeing what it was like to be a Hare Krishna monk, So I was checking it out. So they had this very long prayer they would say every day. Quite a stretch for a Texan, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale. Wow, So how am I going to learn this? You're supposed to say it every time you bow down. That was the system. So I said, I know what I do. I took a ballpoint pen and wrote it in my hand, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. And wrote the whole thing. And I had a little space at the end down here on my left thumb. And Vishnu Jan Swami, he saw that. He said, here's what you should add now to the blank space. I must please my spiritual master and surrender unto him fully. They were working on me, see. But I still wasn't going to do it. No way. But then one day, we had gotten you all know the Radha Krishna Temple album, Govindam Adi Puruṣaḥ was the first track. We didn't have cassettes or MP3s or discs in those days. It was just 33 1/3 RPM vinyl. That was the medium in those days. So Apple Records had just released this wonderful album produced by George and the London devotees. And some radio station in Austin got it. This is too spiritual. We don't want to play this thing. And they saw us on the street, the brahmacharis, Harinam party. Said, here, you might like this. They handed it to us on the street. Wow, are we elated. The Beatles are in Hare Krishna. Wow, see, this is a whole new thing. The Beatles are into Krishna consciousness. Wow, we're going to take over the world in another 2 or 3 years. The whole world will be Krishna conscious because the Beatles are now into Krishna consciousness. We were so enlivened. So anyway, we were playing that. I used to vacuum the temple room rug every morning. That was my service. It was a rented house, so we had a rug in the temple. Normally you don't have a rug in the temple room, muchi. But it's a rented house, so we had a rug, wall of our carpeting in the temple room. So we would vacuum it every morning, and that was my service. So one morning I was playing that album, I was vacuuming. And it came to the second track, Samsaradava Nalalita Loka Tranaya karyunya gana gana tvam praptasya kalyana gunana vasya vande guru shri charanadavindam. Now I've been holding off on becoming a disciple, I'm not going to do it. I'll just be a devotee of Krishna. But when I heard those devotees singing, expressing their love for Prabhupada, you see, something that I had not gotten into, that mood, you see. I stood off from that mood. But I was amazed. This is so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so pure, this Prabhupada prema, love for Prabhupada. It's so amazing. Wow. I was just completely overawed by the love the devotees were feeling for Prabhupada. And that was it. I just thought, wouldn't it be beautiful if I just started crying actually. I said, wouldn't it be beautiful if I gave my life to Srila Prabhupada? And that was it. My little independence trip was finished off, you see. And because I realized that loving Prabhupada was the sweetest, the ultimate nectar, loving the spiritual master, you see. Totally giving myself to the spiritual master as his eternal servant. You see, it was the sweetest, inconceivable nectar that could ever be tasted in millions and millions of lifetimes. The sweetest, most inconceivable nectar. So Krishna is very far away for us, you see. The spiritual master is approachable. So, he is the channel. The spiritual master is the channel to Krishna. By that awakening, that feeling of love for Shri Guru, who is the channel to Krishna, then we get that solid connection with Krishna. He is called, therefore, Guru is called transparent via media. Just like I may want to speak to you, but you're 500 miles away. So what will I do? I pick up my mobile phone. You see, to the medium of the mobile phone, I can talk. So Guru is medium. Krishna is far, far away in Goloka Vrindavan. You see, very far away. But just as you, hundreds of miles away, become immediately accessible by picking up my mobile phone. Guru is like mobile phone, and that's it. He is the medium who connects us with Krishna. So, if we take good care of our relationship with our spiritual master, then we have a very good connection with Krishna. And we learn from our spiritual master how to pray to Krishna in a pure mood, you see. Many people pray to Krishna, but they come with their material desires, and they wonder why they're not happy. Oh, I've been chanting Hare Krishna for so long, why am I not happy? You see, what's wrong? Because they're chanting and they're maintaining their material desires at the same time. The 10th offense against the chanting of the holy name is to maintain material attachments. So we have to let go of these material attachments. They're not helping us. Even if you get all your material desires fulfilled, you're still going to get old, you're still going to get sick, and you're still going to die. So what's the value? If you get that house or that car or that job or that woman or that man, what is the value of it ultimately? What is the value of it ultimately? Everything will be lost at the time of death. So just try to get that connection with Krishna. That's the only thing that really we need in our lives. We only need to have that connection with Krishna. That's all we need. That will fully satisfy us. Such an amazing person. Wow, just absolutely amazing. Everything about him, every single quality, his power, his beauty, his renunciation, his knowledge, his wealth, his fame. Every single aspect of Krishna is absolutely, inconceivably wonderful. Absolutely, inconceivably divine. Every aspect. You say, renounced? How could he be so renounced? He's got all those girlfriends. How can he be renounced? But Grandfather Bhishma confirmed. I am known as being the most renounced, Jitavrata, the most renounced person, but I can tell you that if I was in the forest of Vrindavan with all those gopi girls, I would have fallen down. But Krishna did not have any fall down. There was no pregnancy abortion from the rasa dance. It was simply, there was no sex life, you see. So Krishna, Grandfather Bhishma confirmed, is the most renounced person. He's the topmost brahmachari. So in every way, Krishna is the supreme. Every way, Krishna is the supreme. There's no way that Krishna is not the supreme. In every single way, Krishna is the supreme. Because every opulence that exists is nothing but his energy. So how can he be defeated? He's undefeatable. But there's one thing that can defeat him. You see, that undefeatable Krishna. You see, Ajita Krishna, undefeatable Krishna. He becomes jita, or conquered by what? The love of his devotee. Krishna is very, very happy to be conquered by the love of his devotee. He becomes conquered and controlled by his devotee. He's very happy. He becomes conquered by his devotee's love, like Mother Jasoda. You see, he's very, very happy. Prabhupada said that Krishna is always being worshipped, the Supreme, but sometimes he becomes disgusted. Prabhupada actually said Krishna becomes disgusted. He's so much being glorified as Supreme. He likes a devotee who can chastise him. You see? That's the greatest pleasure. If there's someone who can conquer him, control him, and chastise him. Of course, we can't artificially jump to that position. But in the perfectional stage, you see, the cowherd boys, the cowherd girls, you see, they can chastise Krishna. They can defeat Krishna. So where is this conception anywhere in the world? It's not in the Muslim scriptures, not in the Jewish scriptures, not in the Christian scriptures. This is the highest theology. You won't find this anywhere else, you see. This is the greatest contribution to the theological science in the history of the universe. This Gaudiya Vaishnava literature is the greatest contribution to the theological science in the history of the universe. Coming from Lord Chaitanya, and they say, actually, he didn't write the literature himself. He instructed it as Goswamis. It's coming from the Goswamis. This is the highest level theological science in the history of the universe. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan have given us. And Prabhupada has encapsulated it in his books to make it accessible to us. So I can ask now if there's any questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned that jiva is part of the external energy. I think you mentioned...
No, tatasta, not external, tatasta Shakti. He is spiritual, he's spiritual energy, he's also tatasta Shakti, which is marginal energy. I never said external energy. He is in his nature, he's internal energy, but he also has a tatasta Shakti nature. Jivara Sarupahai Krishnera tatasta Shakti is also mentioned in that verse. No, tatasta, marginal. It's the English translation.
So where does the tatasta come from exactly? Is it from Krishna's chit?
It's all coming from Krishna. Everything's coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything, isn't it? So everything comes. The ability to choose matter or spirit, that comes from Krishna also. That's free will. Tatasta Shakti means free will, is what it means. It's not a physical place. Some devotees made the mistake of thinking there's a third region called the Tatasta region. That's not true. Where is that described in the Vedic cosmology? Another region. There is no third region. The two regions come against each other. And that border is called tatastha. But there's no place to live there. There's no space on the border. You see, the border has no dimensions. You can actually live there. It's just with it. So we have a consciousness which can go either way. That's why we're called tatastha shakti. It's not that we originate in the tatastha. Our origin is clearly stated by Prabhupada in the pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world. That's our original position. But we have this eternal nature of being able to go either way. We have that tatastha nature, our marginal nature, eternally to be able to go this way. That means free will, to go this way or that way. And if you use it properly, you're in good shape. If you misuse it, you're in bad shape. But Krishna will rescue you, personally or through one of his devotees. He'll rescue you if you make the bad decision and come to the material world.
You mentioned also that Krishna never takes a step outside Vrindavan.
Yes.
And that has been Prabhupada mentioned that many places.
Yeah.
But how is it then that the Brajvasis are still in separation from Krishna?
Yes. He appears to leave Vrindavan to increase you see, love in separation is more intense than love in meeting. So Krishna appears to leave, makes a show of leaving Vrindavan to amplify the loving feelings, the loving emotions of the gopi girls, and on the back of the gopas, everyone, the cows, the calves, everyone. He amplifies, he cranks up their love by appearing to leave from Vrindavan. That's his kindness upon them, to increase their feelings of love.
So he's leaving and still he's there?
Oh yeah.
And nobody can see him.
He's in the hearts of they find Krishna within their hearts. They associate with the Lord within their heart, remembering all of his pastimes. They're fully seeing him and experiencing him within their heart. Any other question? Yeah.
You mentioned that we cannot have love without choice.
That's right.
But it seems that if we do not love Krishna, we ultimately suffer.
That's right.
So in one sense, there is no choice whatsoever.
You have a choice. Do you want to enjoy your suffering? That's your choice. Someone can be a law-abiding citizen and they can be a criminal. They have a free choice. In Denmark, you can obey the laws and be a happy citizen, or you can be a criminal and be a fearful criminal, always being afraid of being arrested. You have a choice, don't you? In Denmark, to be a law-abiding citizen and to be a criminal, don't you have a choice? Huh? You have a choice. So in the same way, you have a choice to obey Krishna or not. You have a choice. You do have a choice. Now, for an intelligent person, there's no choice. But you don't have to be intelligent. You can be a fool if you want to be. You want to be a fool, you can be a fool. An intelligent person, there's no thought of becoming a criminal. That's insane. Intelligent person, it's insane to be a criminal, you know. For me, I'm just going to be a law-abiding. But one has a choice. If he wants to be a fool and a rascal, he can be a fool and a rascal. Yeah?
It seems a little, externally, it can seem a little like extortion on Krishna's part, saying that if you do not love me, you have to suffer in hell or something.
What is his question?
He says it can be a little strong from Krishna's part, that if you don't love me, you suffer.
Is he being strong?
Or like...
heavy?
Yeah, heavy.
It's like saying, I ran away from home and I'm suffering on the street. Yeah, my parents are very cruel and mean because here I'm on the street suffering like anything. You idiot, why don't you just go home? It's your foolishness that you're suffering. It's not Krishna's heaviness that you're suffering, it's your foolishness. Well, my parents, I'm suffering on the streets, living away from home. Why don't you just go home then? You want to blame Krishna? Well, that's the whole mentality you got here to begin with, blaming Krishna, finding fault with Krishna. You want to fault Krishna for your suffering condition, you remain in your suffering condition forever. You understand? If you fault Krishna for your suffering, you will remain suffering forever. So take the blame on yourself. Don't put the blame on Krishna. Otherwise you'll never get out of this place. If you find fault in Krishna, you'll never get out of here. Not in a million births you escape this material existence. You take the full responsibility on yourself. That's how you get out of here. Not if you blame Krishna. Yeah. I saw your hand up.
That was about the perfection of the cowherd boys and cowherd girls. Is that due to their love? They don't commit to all these pious activities, but their love for Krishna is unconditional, and they see him as a friend rather than as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is that why they, in a way, defeat him?
I'm a little... what is it?
The cowherd boys and cowherd girls, they defeat Krishna. Is that due to their being friends with him? It's not a normal...
How can they have that intimate relationship?
Is that why they defeat Krishna? Because they have this kind of relationship with him?
Why they can defeat him?
Is that why? Because they have this kind of relationship there?
Well, the thing is, those who are completely sold out to Krishna, who have absolutely no material desires whatsoever, who simply want to give everything to Krishna, you see. But a person who simply wants to become the possession of Krishna, that's all. I'm your possession, do what you want to with me, you see. Krishna reciprocates equally, or 10 times more actually. If you become completely sold out to Krishna, Krishna will sell himself to you also, give himself to you also. So this is because they have the purest love for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates. They've fully given themselves that now I am your property, you do with me what you like. Now Krishna says, okay, you've made yourself my property, now I am your property, you do with me as you like. You see, that is this ultimate freedom, when God himself becomes your property. You see, you understand? Okay. Anything else? Everyone's satisfied now? All your questions are answered. No one is confused about this process of bhakti. It's all very clear now. The whole system of how to become perfect is clear to you now completely. No one has any confusion about how to awaken the dormant love of Krishna within their heart. Yes?
You mentioned, Prabhu, the writings of the 6 Goswamis is the greatest contribution to humanity. So how to bring this to people in general?
Distributing Prabhupada's books. Because Prabhupada has given it in a form which is fully comprehensible in the modern day society. By mass distribution of Prabhupada's books, that's how to do it. How to bring the teachings of the Goswamis into the general population. A massive distribution of Prabhupada's books. Every home on the whole planet should have a full set of Prabhupada's books. That's how to make it available to everyone. Massive book distribution. And we have to be ourselves living embodiments. So when they read the books, they think, well, how do you practice this? Can you really live this? And there has to be some devotees who are living it. So they can meet us, associate with us, and say, oh yeah, here's somebody who's actually living these teachings. I read in the Nectar Devotion about, going to Mangal Arati. Here's somebody who's going to Mangal Arati every day, you see. There has to be living embodiments, people who are actually following these books also on the planet. So when they read the books, they can find someone who can train them how to follow the books. That's why our ISKCON is a very important thing. It's this society. ISKCON means those people. That society organized by Srila Prabhupada. That society of people who are reading and following Prabhupada's books. That's ISKCON. You see. So the ISKCON devotees are very important. They have to be living embodiments of the Goswamis' teachings by their thoughts, words, and deeds in all time, places, and circumstances, so that people can associate with them and get a full understanding, you see. The devotee is very important, yes.
I have one more question about the Goswami's teachings. He'll tell you. The 5 rasas, and the 5 rasas is the rasa of friendship and service, and then the final rasa of love, the parental rasa and the conjugal rasa. On what level do devotees practice these rasas, for example, and how should they be given to other people to say, well, this is the rasa you should be having, or this is the rasa that you shouldn't be having?
Of the 5 primary rasas, in which level do devotees actually practice them, and to what level should it be given by the spiritual master to the disciple?
We simply practice being completely sold out servants of Guru. That is our position. You see, the rasa is not revealed until one comes to the stage of pure love of God. The asakti stage, which is the preliminary stage of pure love. There's different levels described by Rupa Goswami. The first level is you have faith in the process. And the second step is you associate with devotees. The third stage is you get initiated. The fourth stage is you give up you become completely free of all the influence of passion and ignorance. That's the third stage. The next stage, those are the fourth stage. Yeah. And then you develop I'm very solidly fixed up beyond the modes of passion and ignorance. Then you go even higher to where the holy name becomes unlimitedly sweet. Where you can chant Hare Krishna 24 hours, you can sing in the kirtan 24 hours, even if the kirtan leader is off the beat and he can't sing a tune, it doesn't matter, you're just relishing the name. It doesn't have to be musically beautiful on the ruchi stage. Just the name itself gives unlimited juice. And then you come to the asakti stage after that, of complete total attachment to Krishna. You're not attached because it's become so unlimitedly sweet that just the name of Krishna, you find unlimited oceans of nectar just in the 2 syllables Krishna. There are unlimited oceans of nectar just in one utterance of Krishna. You see, that's ruchi. We can talk about these things, but they're far beyond our consciousness right now. And then you come to the asakti stage where you're totally attached to Krishna. Completely, you have no attachment to anything except to Krishna. You're not attached to your body, not attached to your country, your wife, your family, your pride. You have absolutely no attachment except Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. They can kill your body, it doesn't matter. Krishna is all you care about. Then at that stage you can realize your rasa in Krishna. It becomes automatically numb. What is my relationship with Krishna? So what was it? So how does it fit with, give me a refresh on what the question was.
There was the 5 primary rasas.
Right.
How the devotees practice them, and how
we don't practice them. We do not practice them right now. We do not practice our rasas. When you come to the asakti stage and you realize your rasa, then you practice them. To try to practice it now, as some devotees have foolishly said we should do, is wrong. Prabhupada warned us against this. Some devotees have actually preached this in ISKCON, that we should practice a certain rasa now. It's completely bogus, totally against Prabhupada's teachings. I'm trying to help clear up the air on this point, because one devotee actually at the Sunday feast lecture, he said, okay, now everybody pick your rasa. Pick a rasa, start practicing it. The guests at the Sunday feast, even a person who's been initiated for 40 years practicing Krishna consciousness, he's still battling it out in the ananta-rūpa stage, trying to at least become the nishta. Asakti is way, way up there, you see. Now we want to come to that stage, of course. We may not before we even leave our bodies. We may not. But even if someone does, let's say one of the devotees actually got to the asakti stage and he realized his rasa, would he say, "Oh Prabhu, guess what? I'm such and such gopi," or "I'm such and such"? Would he say that? No. Would he hint it? No. Would he even subtly hint it? Absolutely not. Because Prabhupada said, one who achieves this, he simply presents himself as a neophyte devotee. He always presents himself as a neophyte. So anybody who says, Prabhu, I realize my rasa. Forgive, this person's off the track. He's really off the track. We see sometimes they do that. They don't follow the regulated principles. They think, now I've achieved raga nuga bhakti. I don't have to follow the rules and regulations of sadhana because I'm on the raga nuga stage. I realize my rasa. Now I'm just practicing my rasa. Don't hear anything from them because they're off the trend. They're really off the trend. We should try to help them, but if they don't want to take our help, what can we do? In Los Angeles, there was a group of devotees who wanted to practice Gopi Bhava. They were called the Gopi Bhava Club, and Prabhupada one morning was taking his breakfast in his quarters there in the LA temple. He had a piece of fruit on his plate. He's bringing the fruit to his mouth, and Pradyumna walked in and he said, "Prabhupada, there's a group of devotees here who just talk about Gopi Bhav." That fruit never made it to Prabhupada's mouth. They went back on his plate. He said, "Call the GBC, call the temple president, call the leader of that group here right now." Prabhupada refused to even take his breakfast. He was so angry. And he chastised that leader. He blooped, actually. And he's still a nonsense rascal. He has some newsletter called Pada. His name is Paranjana. He still has some nonsense newsletter, ridiculous garbage blasphemy. He immediately left the movement after Prabhupada chastised him. He was the leader of this thing. And so, in recent years, some devotees Vrindavan, devotees in Vrindavan sometimes get into this mood. Vrindavan is dangerous. One of our brahmacharis, a sannyasi candidate actually, Janardhan Prabhu. You know that famous t-shirt, I lost my heart in Vrindavan? He said, "I lost my brains in Vrindavan." Sometimes people go into this sahaja philosophy, he called it losing your brains in Vrindavan. So, those things are described in the Brahma Samhita and in different places, and we should know what they are, but we should know that's not us. That does come, but such a devotee, he would never speak it to anyone. He would always present himself externally as a neophyte devotee and always follow all the rules and regulations. You would never know. When we asked Prabhupada about his rasa in his internal life, he said, "That you do not require." And they said, "But Prabhupada, can't you tell us a little bit?" "That you do not require." He'd be very angry if we tried to delve into his internal life. He refused to ever reveal such a thing, you see. He'd become absolutely, adamantly angry if someone tried to push him a little bit to reveal him. He would never do. So we have to understand from Srila Prabhupada. There may be different things from other acharyas, but we're Prabhupada Nugas. We have to follow the style and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, not jump over Prabhupada and go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur or something like that. We have to strictly follow in the line of Srila Prabhupada. That's our perfection. We are very, very contaminated Kali Yugites. We're contaminated with lust, with anger, with greed. We're not like Bengali Vaishnavas of the 19th century. We're in a whole different world. We are very, very contaminated, lusty, wine, women, and song type people. That's a fact. We're very contaminated. So we have to take, and even in India, that people are very contaminated now. They're very contaminated with Mayavadi philosophy, and now they're taking on everywhere. The whole world is contaminated. So we have to take exactly what Prabhupada has taught in his books and exactly follow it, and not deviate, taking a little here, a little from there, and coming up with something new and different than what Prabhupada has given us. It will destroy our movement if we do. It will absolutely destroy ISKCON. ISKCON will be finished. within a very short time if we deviate from Prabhupada's instructions. And he makes it very clear in the Nectar Devotion. You see, very, very clear. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I actually have one more question.
All right, this is the last one.
Related to this subject.
All right.
I'm not even on the level of neophyte devotee, so but if you come to a level of a very high neophyte devotee and you don't make it to the finding out your spiritual rasa, do you come back in the next life and reach that stage?
If you don't find out what is your rasa, does that mean you'll have to come back?
So in other words, you didn't get to this. What you're saying is, if you didn't reach the asakti stage, do you have to come back? Yes, you would have to come back. However, Krishna is very kind. Actually, in one place, Prabhupada said it's not possible to go back in one lifetime. In his books, he's actually stated, you cannot go back to Godhead in one lifetime. But he also said we could. So that means our going back is mercy. He told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was the GBC of India. In the early days of India, it was really, really difficult, especially for Westerners. Prabhupada he didn't have any Indians helping him in India. It was just one Indian with all these American boys trying to organize and deal with all the government officials. It was very difficult for the American boys in India, trying to establish, Mayapur, Vrindavan, Bombay. It was extremely difficult. Great, great austerities. And he was put in charge of the whole thing as the GBC of India, and he was completely stressed out from it, He was feeling he was losing his Krishna consciousness for having to deal with all the government officials, going out all day and dealing with all these mundane people. He felt he was worrying about his own Krishna consciousness, Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So, or he may have been Adhikari at the time, I don't remember, but he said, Srila Prabhupada, how will I go back to Godhead? My conscience is so polluted by dealing with all this. And Prabhupada said, if you simply give this one lifetime completely in the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then whatever may be lacking at the last moment, he will cover for you and take you back to Godhead. So that's our hope. Whether we can reach the asakti stage, it's possible. Some devotees say that, nobody in ISKCON has attained it, but you wouldn't know if somebody had. You can't make a blanket statement that nobody in ISKCON has done it. You can't say that, because even if someone has, they would never reveal it. You would just know he's a very Krishna conscious devotee. That's all you would know. No one's going to reveal it if they're actually following Prabhupada. And if they do reveal it, they haven't really attained it. So you don't know. Somebody may have achieved it. We can't say that no one has reached that stage. But at least for myself, I know I'm still battling it out in the ananta-rūpa stage. Fighting it out, battling the rascal mind, beating my mind with shoes 100 times in the morning and a broomstick 100 times at night. And that's my level. Ananta-rūpa, just battling it out with all the anarthas in my heart. So for someone like myself, my hope is, personally, my personal hope is, I'm not so inclined to go back to Godhead myself, because Prabhupada told us to make the whole world Krishna conscious. And it's like my temple president one time told me, don't come back from Sankirtan until you've reached your quota. He told me, that was the order, don't come back to the temple until you've attained your quota. So my mood is that, if we haven't made the whole world Krishna conscious yet, how can I even go back to Godhead? I got to take birth again, birth after birth, until the whole world becomes Krishna conscious. That's the way I look at it. How can I be so selfish of leaving, not fulfilling Prabhupada's order that we have to deliver the whole world and want to go back to Godhead and just enjoy, Vrindavan rest forever when all these people are still suffering here. That's the way I feel. But, no, Prabhupada confirmed that Jayananda had gone back to Godhead because he was hearing the holy names upon leaving his body. So we take that as an example. If a devotee, was following the principles, sincerely serving Prabhupada's mission, and devotees were surrounding him with kirtan at the last moment of his life. Then we can understand from Prabhupada that person has most likely gone back to God, but you can't really know for sure. You can't really know for sure until you go back and you actually see who's there. We can't really say for sure. It's not that every devotee who dies automatically goes back to Godhead. It's not like that. Prabhupada said one has to be pure. So if you're not completely pure yet, can you go? Prabhupada did say it's possible. You're 90% pure. You can still go back. He even said 70% pure. It's like an exam, 70 is a passing grade, So the thing is, don't say, okay, 70% is allowed, so I'm just going to be 70% Krishna conscious, and I'll allow myself 30% sense gratification. No. You have to sincerely strive to become a pure devotee. And then if you're a little bit lacking, Krishna can throw you some bonus points on the end to help you get over the hump, But Krishna is very kind. And our time is up. So we'll see you all tomorrow morning, Bhagavatam class again at what time?
7:45.
7:45 tomorrow morning, and then there'll be a lecture again tomorrow night. Here? No, a home program. Okay. So we thank you all very, very much for your participation in this movement. Kindly fully absorb yourselves in this process and taste the sweetest nectar at each and every minute throughout your 24 hours. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Raja Vidya Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.